Good morning, and welcome to our Facebook Live event, The Journey of Promoting Equity and Human Rights, the USAID Story. We'll be talking diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility today. I'm Aisha Lett, the Development and Outreach Communication Specialist at USAID Eastern and Southern Caribbean, and your moderator for today's event. This is a two-part event. We'll kick off with a panel discussion, followed by a dynamic live performance by Barbadian gospel recording artist Shane Forrester and friends. And we'll end with our regional representative, Mr. Clinton D. White, who will deliver brief closing remarks. So let's get into it. First, let's introduce our panelists very briefly. We'll start with Arjun Tasker. He is the New Partnerships Initiative Lead in USAID's local faith and transformative partnerships hub based in Washington, D.C. He has supported USAID since 2014, beginning with the design and launch of the Local Works program. He and his team support missions to engage new, non traditional, and local partners throughout the USAID program cycle. Also with us this morning is Ms. Ferhana Bulbulia. She's the founder of the Barbados Association of Muslim Ladies, or BAML, and brings more than 10 years' experience in grassroots and community organizing and NGO leadership. She also serves as a project coordinator for You Report Barbados, which is a digital messaging tool promoting the inclusion of youth voices in decision making. Ferhan is also a Queen's Young Leader and Chevening Scholar. And we have Mr. Imran Bacchus, who is a deacon at the Streams of Living Water Apostolic Center in Guyana. He is also completing his degree at the University of Bedfordshire. He has a love for people and adventure, and he lives with the intention of being different. So happy to have all of you on board today, and we thank you for your time. So, okay, guys, let's get this discussion going. Arjun, I'm going to put you on the spot and start with you. From the USAID Washington perspective, how is USAID transforming words into action when it comes to diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility?
Thank you, Aisha. I'm so pleased to be here and grateful for the invitation to contribute. This is a great question, and you see it in a lot of different ways because USAID is in itself very diverse and distinct and different and operates across so many countries who are unlike one another. But we actually asked this question of all of the USAID missions. How are you planning to incorporate these issues into the things that you're working on? And are you thinking about it at a strategic level? Our priorities of what we want to partner with host country governments about or work with organizations, challenges to tackle? Or is it in specific activities that you're funding? And are you making sure that in an activity, that the activity is addressing power dynamics or is inclusive of marginalized populations or has part of the activity is sort of bringing USAID closer to communities that we have not normally heard from. And we're seeing all of those different things in a lot of different ways. One of the things that's interesting from the Washington perspective is how a lot of operating units here in DC think about inclusion and equity as a lens through which they need to look at all of the work that we do. Whereas some of the missions that I work with and support are thinking about it in terms of, well, we're going to fund an organization to do something. How are we making sure that the thing they do is inclusive, that the thing they do addresses inequity that we see in this sector? Maybe it's health, maybe it's gender-based violence, it could be anything. And so I couldn't give you a specific one way. I think what's remarkable is all the different ways different parts of USAID are trying to integrate this into everything that they do. How about that?
Yes, that works. That works. And you're right in terms of how we try to work with various groups to make sure that various critical needs are addressed, and we appreciate that. Let's move a little further and let's hear from the field. Farhana, we're going to start with you. How has working with USAID in the past impacted your current programs?
Well, thank you, Aisha, for that that question and for having me on the panel today. I'm very excited to be part of the discussion. Our relationship with USAID really started, our engagement started about 2 years ago, and really this has strengthened our ability to respond to some of the critical challenges we're facing right now, particularly within the context of the COVID-19 environment. Through the head of your mission, Clinton White, who reached out to us and was very eager to engage and hear about the issues that we were facing on the ground. And particularly, one of the critical areas was gender based violence for us. When the COVID-19 pandemic began to take a foothold, we began to see these issues heightened. There was women who would not necessarily have spoken out on these issues before coming to the fore and saying, this is a very important issue for me and my family, and I need help. And so the Barbados Association of Muslim Ladies began to see how we can mobilize that type of support. And USAID came as one of those entities that step forward to really assist us in the work that we're trying to do at a community level. I think what's important here is that when we're looking at marginalized and minority groups, you're not going to get that scalability. You're not going to be helping hundreds and hundreds of persons, because the reality is we are a small island developing state. We have small communities, but that does not negate from the fact that within our communities, there are very important needs that are often ignored and neglected and not brought to the fore because of the ingrained inequities and inequalities that exist, along with the cultural and religious factors that then further impact on that. So by USAID coming forward and working with us and listening to the issues that we're facing, and then seeing how we can go about and leading the change and empowering us to do so, has really assisted our journey in being able to help women and girls that we serve with the experiences they're having with exposure to violence, whether that be family, intimate, domestic violence. And that has really helped us to move forward our agenda on that issue.
Okay, that is great. Arjun, you want to jump back in here with some concrete examples to,
Sure.
yeah.
I think Farhana said that the key word there, right? It was listening. And it can be hard for USAID to listen, especially to local communities with whom we don't interact that often, right? And so we're seeing some interesting practices. Sometimes in the early stage, we're seeing a little bit more of USAID missions building into their process sort of really robust listening tours. Philippines, Malawi come to mind, where USAID staff are going to those communities that they might not have ever visited, with the objective of just hearing more and more openly before we have perhaps designed something, right? But we're also seeing the very specifically, and for in NPI, we use accountability and feedback plans. The Inclusive Development Hub has a really robust inclusive development analysis practice, but all of these things are ways where a mission is like very specifically trying to ensure that an activity is building feedback loops with local communities and communities that might not even be part of the program. So, for example, a health activity that is trying to it's not TB, it is they're doing community-based health programming and community-based health monitoring efforts in a couple of countries. And part of their feedback plan that the mission and the partner developed together is actually trying to hear from people who don't participate in the activity, but specifically people who are not coming to those sort of community-based health clinics. And that's not necessarily how we typically design our sort of monitoring plans. And so we're trying to make a big emphasis on like using that type of example, because it really made had a huge impact on the activity to hear from the people who were not sort of benefiting from anything we funded. Over.
Okay. Yes, that is a great example. And Farhana raised a very valid point, which is topical for now, which is the pandemic. Besides the obvious economic impacts, the obvious health impacts that this pandemic has created on many countries around the world, big and small, gender-based violence was one of the things that came to the fore. Um, what else, Imran, have you seen in your line? And you're speaking from the Catholic Church perspective, right? Um, what issues have you guys seen come to the fore in the pandemic that needed you to respond? And it could be stuff, anything, whether it's issues that you've been dealing with before or whether new issues cropped up because of the pandemic. Over.
All right, thank you, Aisha. And I'm very delighted to be here, as much as the other panelists. Just one correction, I'm not from the Catholic Church. My church is actually a Pentecostal church. Um, but like you rightfully said, the pandemic has brought about many issues. People were at home, and the activities that they were usually be engaged in were quite limited. I will say that there was a lot of social problems that we will have encountered, given the time that people were away from, spending more time outdoor, and now they were now indoor. There were social problems, like, for example, parents having to deal with children. There were circumstances between marriages, husbands and wives, but those are quite common things that happened, but they became more popular during the pandemic. Um, but putting the pandemic aside, one of the things we did as a church was to we have conducted health outreaches. We have conducted various ways we can respond to people during the pandemic, especially with people who were frustrated. I think mental illness, or people are affected more mentally too, rather than just social problems. So one of those things we did was to come together as as leaders of the church, where I'm from the community, and reach out to those people around us, reach out to those families in during the pandemic stage, and try to find out how they're doing, how we can assist them in coping through the pandemic.
Okay. Yes, great. And you're right. I find that the pandemic brought about not necessarily new challenges, but exacerbated current challenges and even brought some new ones to the fore. Moving away from that a little bit, we're going to circle back to our topic for today, which is diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. In the context of USAID and our future programming, what do you see as a future for DEIA, as we call it, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility? And anyone can start. Jump in, Arjun.
Well, I think you know, terms come and go. So whether we use DEIA today and inclusive development tomorrow and some new term the next day, right? Conceptually, what are we talking about? I think that you're going to see these concepts around power dynamics, around with whom are you speaking, who's being not spoken to, who gets to influence USAID and gets to influence USAID activities, right? How can USAID be more responsive to a broader array of people, in particular underserved communities or marginalized populations of any kind? I think you're going to see that embedded more. I think you'll see it embedded in sort of the solicitations we put out when we ask people to apply for money. I think you'll see it embedded into the sort of shape of activities. And I think you'll see it embedded in how we make strategic choices. I think that's going to grow over the next 3 years in a dramatic fashion.
Okay. Farhana, what do you see in your area?
So we see this as twofold for us. One, it's about social change, and that is challenging perspectives and narratives around people and the diversity of people first, and who deserves to hold positions of power versus who society sees as not being deserving to hold positions of power, and it's conversations around those. That's the first stream. The second stream is looking at the structural barriers. So looking at the legalities around inclusion and like diversion or exclusion and so on. So what does our laws say? How do our laws hinder people from progressing? And I think this is tied a lot to us within Barbados and the Caribbean, to our colonial legacy. And we have to understand that in the context of today's society, and recognize that those implicit or even explicit barriers continue to hold people back. And we need to be able to target those specifically, so it opens the door for people to have access to services, to rights, etc. And then by extension, we have to deal with our minds and how we conceptualize and perceive others. And I think that's the longer battle, in my opinion.
Yes, for sure. Imran?
Well, I must say, I love at the very beginning, Firhana made an interesting point where she said, we can't reach everyone, but we can start, with a small number. And I think well, if from my perspective as a church or as a leader in the church, we know for a fact we can't reach everybody around us, but we can start in the community right where we are in. And when I looked at inclusion, diversity, and equity, I see that the future is very optimistic. I see when I look around, people have literally become more inclusive, and the landscape itself is changing. And I think even when we look at it on a global scale or a regional scale, we ourselves can attest to the fact that it's changing. People are more open to changes. People are supportive of each other. For example, if there's we will have known about the Black Lives Matter group, and we see how people from not just in the United States, but people in the Caribbean, people all over the world came together, even though they weren't in the States, right, to support this movement, as to show that these lives do matter as well. And even right here recently, when we celebrated as a country, we had our Pagua. One of the things I observed was this year, of course, it was bigger than the previous years, and probably because we are now moving a little past the pandemic, so people are more open to the outdoors. But what amazed me was that I see people of all kinds. And here in Guyana, we are very diverse. We're made up of 6 ethnic groups, and it's growing. And to see you have Amerindians, to see you have Africans, you have Chinese, you have Portuguese, everybody involved in one celebration. And not just in terms of celebration or religiously, but in terms of other social problems, people are joining hands. So for me, inclusion, equity, and diversity has an optimistic, positive, and a bright future ahead. And I think one of the key things is when this younger generation, when you can see the change in them now, when you can see that they're more inclusive now, when you can see that they're more supportive of let's say of an issue now, raising their voices, joining with their friends, coming together and to make their voices heard, you can tell that the future is very optimistic or bright when you look at the current conditions. And I know Farhana will have said, yes, there are some challenges because there are things legally, or there are some things that might be legislatively, how do I say, provide a hindrance to people advancing or making their voices heard. But I can tell you, from my perspective, there is a positive outlook because it's changing. Because when people can come together and become so diverse and more inclusive in terms of their voices, I think barriers are bound to break.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And you find that with the generation coming up or generations coming up, a lot of boundaries and barriers that we may have faced, they are breaking them down. They are kicking them down. They're, for females, breaking glass ceilings, and getting into spaces that are traditionally either not, female led, or, if it's a race or ethnicity thing, you can see people breaking barriers and really pushing through. Where do you guys see USAID programs assisting in elevating the voices of the marginalized and the not so heard?
You want me to go first? I can do
Yeah.
it.
Sure.
Okay. This is an interesting one, and I'll use two lanes. Because USAID does have a lot of sort of activities that we fund in all over the world that are specifically to provide some benefit to a particular underserved community. Right? It might be actually, if I look at the list, the top 10, it's women and girls, youth, persons with disabilities. There's a lot of programming around that, but I don't see that as the future, because to me that is misses the point, right? Because it's this topic is more about how can a wide range of different communities influence USAID. How can we make sure that USAID hears from all these different types of peoples in every country that exist, especially those who are perhaps underserved or marginalized in their context? And I think one of the things we need to do more of and be better about is being intentional. And I often say that it's actually on us inside USAID and the USAID staff. I remember talking to someone who was complaining about the activity and the partner and saying, well, they didn't do this. They didn't reach out to these communities. And I basically said, did you ask them to? Did they know that they were supposed to do that? Doesn't seem like you told them that you cared about inclusion at all. And so we need to be really explicit about our values and ask people who receive money from USAID to live those values in doing their work as well. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, great. Great, and very true. I think it starts with us, and us being USAID, how we live our own values, how we communicate those, how we build them into programming and strategy and communications and everything, so that, it almost goes without saying when we have to work with partners. Farhana, how do you see USAID programs assisting in elevating those voices?
Yeah, so one of the things that I always say is that there's diversity within the diversity. And therefore, it's very important to take or be aware of the nuances of the communities that we work with. And that is why I'm always a very strong advocate for the support to grassroots movements, because I've seen how grassroots movement really make inroads in the changes that we want to see, especially working with the most vulnerable. We do that every single day. So we know the key and critical issues and how to get things done in a relatively quickly way, right? In terms of USAID's approach in moving forward and engagement, I think I said it earlier. Firstly, listening to the communities that you're hoping to work with, and really hearing how we perceive and conceptualize issues and what are our solutions, and then working with us to be able to deliver those solutions is critical. Partners in development and not beneficiaries. We're not recipients of handouts. We're partners in the development, and once we're seen that way, then I think that together we can move agendas forward, and we can seek to have the things that we want in place done. Similarly, I would say that I've seen very positive practices from USAID, particularly around youth engagement, where we were able to nominate, for example, a young Muslim woman from our community by the name of Aisha Patel to the USAID's Youth Council. And that nomination was accepted, and she now sits on the Youth Council and is able to provide feedback and help in guiding and shaping the programs and projects. And I think that's a positive example of where we're getting young marginalized women who wouldn't traditionally have these opportunities and these spaces to not only gain experience, but to use their voice in a way that is impactful. And I think that has opened doors and will continue to open doors. So I wanted to highlight that practice.
Yes, for sure. Thank you. Imran?
All right. I love the direction that this conversation is taking. Farhana, I don't know why, but I find myself relating to Farhana's statements very much. In terms of the USAID's work and how they can elevate the voices of those that are not traditionally heard, I will say that the USAID, in my perspective, has been doing very much. I am an example of the USAID's work because I, as Farhan, will have given that example of the young lady that was selected as a to join or to be a part of the youth council. I am an example of something similar, just like that, which has me here today. And so I will say that the USAID has been doing very much to hear the voices of not just one particular group of people, but people of all different backgrounds. And as you can see, sitting on this panel, I am an example of the USAID's work in itself. That to see that they aren't targeting okay a particular group of people with a particular social background or academic background, or people of a particular culture. But again, we see that diversity and inclusion in itself is incorporated in the work of of USAID. Um, in terms of how the voices of those that are not traditionally heard can be elevated, I will say it's through work and program like the USAID currently has and currently doing, by working along with leaders, local leaders, right in the local communities, partnering with them so that they can then reach out to the people that they're working with, and they can channel their voices through their local representatives of or leaders.
Okay, great. If it's one thing that I got from each of you is listening, right? I think Arjun actually said it explicitly. We, as USAID, listen. And based on the examples and all the stories which Farhana and Imran shared, as a direct result of us listening and then acting on what we hear to implement programs that will elevate the voices of the marginalized. We haven't quite made our formal announcement about our youth council as yet, but that is one area that we're exploring and working with youth leaders in the region to hear more from them, to help us rather design programs that make sense, that are relevant, and that will make an impact to not just the current generation of youth, but to the future. Because at the end of the day, it's the future generations that will lead us and pick up from what we have built and to continue to build on that and do better than what we've done. So, if there's one thing I hope that to all of you listening at home would hear today is the key takeaway is listen. We listen and we act on what we hear to make sure that our programs make sense, that to make sure we make an impact in the lives of the people with whom we work. As Farhana said, not just beneficiaries, partners. We're partners in this development work together. So, any closing remarks, any last thoughts that you guys want to leave with our viewers before we move into the second part of our event today? Anybody?
I just want to thank you all for having me. Meeting Imran and Farhana, it's been a pleasure, and I found you both like incredibly impressive, and also sparking a lot of thoughts in my mind. And I would say as a closing remark that you know I think USAID, all of the people who work here believe in these values, but I think we need to make sure we allow those with whom we work and we hope to work, that we hope to build real partnerships with, to hold us accountable. We need to be held accountable for making progress on these issues.
True. Accountability, that's a big one. Farhana, Imran, closing thoughts, wrap up thoughts?
Just to say thank you again for having this panel and just sparking this conversation between different minds. It has been a good experience, and I look forward to continued partnership with USAID.
And it's the same with me. As I said in my opening remarks, I am delighted to be here. It has been an honor to sit among some of these intelligent minds and to hear different perspectives. I would like to say to all of us and to those listening that change can be intimidating, but in order to grow, we must make the move. And so I want to say, if you would like to make your voices heard, now is the time. So many times we prolong and we procrastinate and we look at the person next to us, oh, they will do it, or the person in front of us. But many times, it's our duty and our responsibility. So to any young person watching this afternoon, and you would like to see change in your community or around you, you be the change this afternoon and take that step. All right, it's my honor to work along with USAID. I am very optimistic as to where the future will lead, and I'm looking forward to work along with the programs and activities as well. Thank you very much.
Yes, and thank you. Thank you very much to our panelists for this first part of the discussion. Arjun Tasker out of our USAID Washington office, Imran Bacchus, a deacon in the Pentecostal Church in Guyana, and Ferhana Bulbulia, president of the Barbados Association of Muslim Ladies. We thank you guys for sharing your perspectives and all your key takeaways. It has been a really informative and a wonderful discussion here today. And the future sure looks bright for diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility for all, and especially for us here at USAID as we continue to craft our programs. To everyone viewing, don't log off just yet. We've got a special musical performance for you right now. Coming from the Bethel Church in St. George, Barbados, please welcome Shane Forrester, musician, singer, prolific songwriter, music educator, producer, and instrumentalist. Shane and friends, take it away.
Hello, everybody. I want to say it's absolutely an honor to be here this morning to do this for you. We want to welcome both our present audience here at Bethel and also the ones watching online. I have put together a delightful musical selection for you with some friends. The first artist up is called his name is Duncan, but his stage name is King Servant. And he's a reggae gospel artist, and he's been nominated for numerous awards, and he's here to minister to you and bless you. The next artist up after him is Jaco Lawrence, a singer, songwriter, producer as well. And we're just going to be here ministering to you. So we hope you enjoy this music and it blesses your heart.
Yeah. Don't follow. I beg you, say, don't follow the wicked man's way, or ever let him lead you astray. Just children are always protected, as them got the Zion on the King's Highway. I say, don't follow the wicked man's way, or ever let him lead you astray. Just children are always protected on the King's Highway. Babylon, the criminal, try to take over, lurking behind if you peep over shoulder, seeking opportunities to make you surrender. Try to make your mind more mixed up than a blender. In all your goals and achieving, be careful of the lies and deceiving. Jah know the wicked heart will left me grieving. Why are we so unbelieving? Don't follow the wicked man's way, or ever let him lead you astray. Just children are always protected, as the brothers Zion on the King's Highway. I say, don't follow the wicked man's way, or ever let him lead you astray. Just children are always protected. You've got to see them from afar. You've got to be discerning. Open your eyes in these critical times. Trust the Father, keep the fire burning. Think you're ready cause you're sitting in a pew, but you're ready for slaughter if you go sit down in a stew. There is a work that the Father wants to do. I pray your mind get renewed. Don't follow the wicked man's way, or ever let him lead you astray. Just children are always protected, as the brothers Zion on the King's Highway. I say, don't follow the wicked man's way, or ever let him lead you astray. Just children are always protected. Mix me down. Don't follow. Live your life today, but don't forget about tomorrow. Don't follow, the road is still narrow. And I tell you, say, don't follow. Live your life today, but don't forget about tomorrow. Yeah. Don't follow, the road is still narrow. follow the wicked man's way, or ever let him lead you astray. Just children are always protected as they cross the Zion on the King's Highway. I say, don't the wicked man's way lead you astray. Outside. Don't follow. Live your life today. Don't forget about tomorrow. Don't follow. The road is still narrow. On the King's Highway. On the King's Highway. Yeah, man. Bless up. This is a very special song. It's called Special. This one is for my wife. She's the love of my life. She shines so bright, like the brightest light. So special, so special. There we go. You're my queen, so very special, and I'm giving you my love. To fall for you is very natural, and I'm giving you my love. No other woman is so beautiful, and I'm giving you my love. Yeah. So come a little closer, we're in this thing together. I lead you to the kingdom, this loving is forever. Baby, for you I'll make the sacrifice to have and to hold and make everything nice. You are the one to make me roll the dice. To ask you that question, I didn't think twice, and that's why I choose you in every situation, every interaction, a new education. You are the harmony to my melody, girl, you're heavenly. You're my queen, so very special, and I'm giving you my love. To fall for you is very natural, and I'm giving you my love. No other woman is so beautiful, I'm giving you my love. Yeah. So come a little closer, we're in this thing together. I lead you to the kingdom. Listen, I love the way you make me feel. Something so true, something so real. To give you all my love and all my affection is my only intention, yeah. Dedicated to protection, I'll keep you safe. Dedicated to perfection in Jesus' name. That's my responsibility, not give you all to me. Because you make me feel so right. Set by the King and shining so bright, and you make my heart take flight. There is no other one who carries your light, and you make me feel so good. With you I am stronger than I ever was. Hey, if I had to choose again, I would. If I had to choose again, I would. Cause you're my queen, so very special. I'm giving you my love. To fall for you is very natural, and I'm giving you my love. No other woman is so beautiful, I'm giving you my love. So come a little closer, we're in this thing together. I lead you to the kingdom. That's why I choose you in every situation. I choose you. This sounds so nice, yeah. I wanna be a blessing. I wanna be a blessing. It's still the same goal, same mission. Yeah, listen. My mama always told me I would be a star. She told me shine my light, but don't lose who you are. The talent only gets you so far. Hard work and dedication would arrive you at your station. So I took these words to heart. Keep my head down, my knees to the ground, though I might be at the start. But I know I got a mission and a message and a vision. So I move along the journey, over mountains and in the valley. Belly full or my pockets empty. I got that same goal, same mission, cause I know who made me. Even when my days are so hazy, and even when my life is so crazy, it's still that same goal, same mission. I wanna be a blessing, not a blessing in disguise. That's what I wanna be in this life. So I'ma let my light shine bright. I'ma let my light shine bright. I wanna be a blessing, not a blessing in disguise. That's what I wanna be in this life. So I'ma let my light shine bright. I'ma let my light shine bright. Positive vibes, gotta stay humble. That's the recipe, that's the remedy. Be careful before you take a tumble down. Don't wanna be prideful, lest you fall. You know it's so easy to lose it all. You gotta stay focused. It's still that same goal, same mission, cause I know who made me. Even when my days are so hazy, and even when my life is so crazy, it's still that same goal, same mission. I wanna be a blessing, not a blessing in disguise. That's what I wanna be in this life. So I'ma let my light shine bright. I'ma let my light shine bright. I wanna be a blessing, not a blessing in disguise. That's what I wanna be in this life. So I'ma let my light shine bright. I'ma let my light. Let me hear you say I wanna be a blessing, not a blessing in disguise. That's what I wanna be in this life. So I'ma let my light shine bright. I'ma let my light shine bright. I wanna be a blessing, not a blessing in disguise. That's what I wanna be in this life. So I'ma let my light shine bright. I'ma let my light shine bright. I wanna be a blessing, not a blessing in disguise. That's what I wanna be in this life. So I'ma let my light shine bright. I'ma let my light shine bright. Blessings.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Mr. Jaco Lawrence to the stage.
Good morning. Morning to everybody online, wherever you're watching from. We just wanna give way for Jesus to do his thing in our midst this morning. So let's go. Jesus, you are moving in our midst. Oh, Jesus, you are changing hearts in our midst. Oh, Jesus, you are moving in our midst, yeah. Jesus, you are changing hearts in our midst, yeah. That your will be done and not our own. Jesus, we give you full control. That your will be done and not our own. Jesus, we give you full control. Ooh, yeah, we need you to take control. Oh, Jesus, you are moving in our midst. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, you are moving in our midst, changing every heart. So let your will be done and not our own. Jesus, we give you full control. Let your will be done, Lord, and not our own. Jesus, we give you full control, yeah. Let your will be done and not our own, Lord. Jesus, we give you full control, yeah. Let your will be done, Lord, and not our own. Jesus, we give you full control, full control. Lord, we need you to take control, 'cause without you, everything is out of control. In our lives, Lord, take control. In the church, Lord, take control. In the world, Lord, take control. Take control. Please, Lord, take control. Control, 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 take control. So let your will be done. 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 Yeah. Let your will be done and not our own. Let your will be done. Yeah. Let your will be done, Lord. Oh, Jesus, let your will be done. Let your will, Lord. Let your will be done and not our own, Lord. Jesus, we need you to take full control. Let your will be done and not our own. Let your will be done. Ooh, let your will be done. Amen. Yeah, I like that. So, we all know that the last few years have been very tough. I say few because it feels like a few, but it's only like maybe 2.5. Been extremely tough for us. Give me a little something. So I wrote this song with that in mind. So if you could relate to this, I want you guys to sing along with me as you get it, you know? It's very simple. It goes like this. I wish all my problems would just go away. Maybe someday that would be a reality. But until then, I just keep my head up. Until then, I keep stacking my bread. I'll just coast. Listen to the lyrics. No one really knows what the future holds, no. You just gotta take a day, take it as it rolls over. But I pray I take the narrow way. I pray I live to see another day, yeah. Don't wanna be another life just out the window. But I wish all my problems would just go away. Maybe someday that would be a reality. But until then, I just keep my head up. Until then, I stack my bread up. I'll just coast, yeah. They say life is for living, I live it uptight. But I know once you live it, you gotta live right, right. Don't wanna be on the wrong side. I wasn't made for the dark side. No. I wanna be in light. I wanna be in light. And when I get before God, I wanna hear, yeah, you did all right, all right. Well done, well done. But until then, I just keep my head up. Until then, I'll stack my bread up. I'll just coast. How many of you guys feel like that? In here, on there? But until then, I just keep my head up. Until then, I'll stack my bread up. I'll just coast. So I want to clarify something. When I talk about bread, I'm not talking about money. I believe that Jesus is the bread of life. So in him I have all I need. So my motivation is for Jesus to stack his bread in me. So I'm filled. So when I say that, that's what I mean. Until then, I'll just keep my head up. Until then, I'll stack my bread up. I'll just go. Cause I know, cause I know, cause I know, cause I know. If he did it before, he can do it again, yeah. If he did it before, he can do it again, yeah. Everybody in here, let me hear y'all sing that part. If he did it before, he can do it again, yeah. Yeah, online, let me hear you. If he did it before, he can do it again, yeah. If you believe it, let me hear. If he did it before, he can do it again, yeah. If you're at home singing, singing. If he did it before, he can do it again, yeah. I can't hear you say, if he did it before, he can do it again, yeah. Y'all sound good. If he did it before, he can do it again. He can do it again, yeah. Yes, sir. So I'm going to sing one more song. This one in particular means a lot to me. And again, I think we've all felt in the last 2 years, some, that we've been faced with waters. We've been faced with troubled waters. We've been faced with something that challenges us. For some of us, longer than 2 years. For some of us, it's been a decade. But this song for me means so much to me because it's a testimony of my life and God's ability to keep me afloat. Amen. Went to church a little bit. You called me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. My faith will stand. So I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. 'Cause I am yours and you are mine, Lord. Ooh. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, you never fail, and you won't start now. So I will call upon your name, Jesus, and keep my eyes above the waves, yeah. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, 'cause I am yours, and you are mine. Oh. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith would be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. And take me deeper than my feet could ever wander. In my faith, in my faith, in my faith. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Foster. Yeah. So I will call upon your name, Jesus, and keep my eyes above the waves, yeah. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, I am yours, and you are mine, you are mine, you are mine, you are mine, you are mine. I know that I'm yours, I know you're mine, I know, and you are mine. Thank you. Oh, Jesus.
Once again, it's just an honor to be here. We hope that you're enjoying this so far.
fully persuaded, one died for all. That's why we're living. Love compels us to tell the world about a Savior who loves them all. I don't wanna be a part of the story unless Jesus gets the glory. To Him be preeminence for all that He's done. I don't wanna be a part of the story unless Jesus gets the glory. The Lamb who was slain for us, He died and rose again. Oh, fully convinced, fully persuaded, love is crucified, love paid the cost. Now Christ in us, the hope of glory, we shine His light in a world that's lost. But I don't wanna be a part of the story unless Jesus gets the glory. To Him be preeminence for all that He has done. I don't wanna be a part of the story unless Jesus gets the glory. The Lamb who was slain for us, He died and rose again. Oh, 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 grace to the author of salvation and grace, the light of the world, King of all kings, the Lion of Judah, the bright morning star, the lily of the valley, how awesome you are. I don't wanna be a part of the story unless Jesus gets the glory. To Him be preeminence for all that He has done. I don't wanna be a part of the story unless Jesus gets the glory. The Lamb who was slain for us, He died and rose again. Oh, I don't wanna be a part of the story unless Jesus gets the glory. To Him be preeminence for all that He has done. I don't wanna be a part of the story unless Jesus gets the glory. The Lamb who was slain for us, He died and rose again. Oh, 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 oh,
Come on, clap your hands, everybody. Come on.
I am the reason, I am the reason you came. The best that heaven could offer was given to me. I am the reason, I am the reason you came. The best that heaven could offer was given to me. You say I'm invaluable, worth more than anything. You say I'm the apple of your eye, and you always think of me. Your banner over me is love. You're familiar with all my ways. Your banner over me is love, going with me every day. I am the reason, I am the reason you came. The best that heaven could offer was given for me. I am the reason, I am the reason you came. The best that heaven could offer was given for me. You say I'm your glory, and the image of who you are. I was created for your pleasure forevermore. Your banner over me is love. You're familiar in all my ways. Your banner over me is love, going with me every day. I am the reason, I am the reason you came. The best that heaven could offer was given for me. Oh, I am the reason, I am the reason you came. The best that heaven could offer was given for me. Oh, oh, your loving never stops. Your loving never stops. Your loving never stops. Oh, your loving never stops. Your loving never stops. Your loving never stops. Jesus, your loving never stops. Bring it down, bring it down. Now the song says, I am the reason you came. The best that heaven could offer was given for me. What the song is trying to tell you is that you are so valuable that God bankrupt heaven for you. That's how valuable you are. He gave his only son to die for you and me. That's how precious we are to him. So I am the reason he came, and you are the reason he came. Your family is the reason why he came. He loves you. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son. And that's what this song is all about. You're that reason. You're that special. You're that valuable. Priceless. Yeah? Who agrees? If you agree, yes, you're that valuable and that precious to God. Amen. So let's do it. Let's just sing the chorus. And sing it from your heart this morning. Yeah. I am the reason. I am the reason you came. The best that heaven could offer was given for me. I am the reason. I am the reason you came. The best that heaven could offer was given for me. Oh, I am the reason. I am the reason you came. The best that heaven could offer was given for me. Oh, let's sing. Whoa, whoa, your loving never stops. 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 I am the reason. I am the reason. I am the reason you came. The best that heaven could offer was given for me. I am the reason. Yes, you're the reason. This song simply says, let my life be an arrow that points to you. It points to a Savior, to the lover of our souls, to the one that loves us the most. Let my life be an arrow that points to you. Let my heart be fully yours. Let my life be an arrow that points to you. Let my heart be fully yours. It's not about me, it's all about you. I wanna decrease so the world can see you. It's not about me, it's all about you. I wanna decrease so the world can see you. Let my life be an arrow that points to you. Let my heart be fully yours. Let my life be an arrow that points to you. Let my heart be fully yours. It's not about me, it's all about you. I wanna decrease so the world can see you. It's not about me, it's all about you. I wanna decrease so the world can see you. I'm running after, Lord, I'm running after you having all of me. Oh, I'm running after you having all of me. I'm running after, Lord, I'm running after you having all of me. Take all of me, Lord, I'm running after you having all of me. It's not about me, it's not about me, it's all about you. I want to decrease so the world can see you. It's not about me. It's all about you. I want to decrease so the world can see you. I'm crucified. I am crucified. Now you live in me. Now you live through me. I am crucified, crucified. Now you live in me. Now you live in me. Now you live through me. Let my life be an arrow that points to you. Let my heart be fully yours. Let my life be an arrow that points to you. Let my heart be fully yours. Oh, fully yours, fully yours. God is not mad at you. Wherever you are, you're watching. I just feel to tell you that God is not mad at you. Heaven has zero hostility towards you because of the cross. And God is just wanting you to know that He loves you very, very much. And He's acquainted with every intimate detail of your life. When you get up, when you sit down, when you go out, when you come in. Even your tears, the book of Psalms says He stores in a bottle. And even the very hairs on your head are numbered. So God is that acquainted with you. He's that interested in you. So every time you get a haircut, He's calculating how many you lost. and every time you cry a tear, it's not wasted. He takes it and stores it in a bottle. It's that precious. And David says, how numerous are your thoughts towards me, O God? Were I to number them, they would outnumber the grains of sand on the seashore. Isn't that amazing that God takes the time? He thinks about us so much that you can count His thoughts. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you, says God. And I ordained you to be someone of significance and purpose. To me first. You're my handiwork. And God is just trying to tell someone out there, whether it be someone here, that you are precious to Him. That He loves you very, 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 very much. And regardless of what you're going through, He's there for you. He's a prayer away. He's a heartbeat away. He's a thought away. Actually, the Bible says before a word is formed on your mouth, I knew them full well. So even before you speak, God knows full well what your needs are. Isn't it amazing that God created a garden and anticipated every need that you would have? So before He created the garden, He placed Adam and Eve in the garden. He created food. He made sure they had every single thing first. He didn't say, okay, I'm going to create man and then, oh, they're hungry. Oh, no, we're going to feed them. No, He didn't do that. He created everything first and then placed man in the garden, which means He anticipates all of your needs before you even could ask. That's how amazing He is. And He is so interested in you. So, and His love is reckless. And that song got a little bad rap because it says reckless, but reckless really means no consideration for if I love you, whether you love me back. I'm loving you without strings. And irrespective of your flaws and what you do, I'm still committed to loving you.
That's his reckless love. It takes no consideration for itself. For love does not seek its own. It endures all things. It believes all things. So, as you listen to this song, The Reckless Love of God, put yourself in the picture, because God is saying that to you, that his love towards you is absolutely unconditional, and he loves you very much.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You've been so kind to me. And before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You've been so good to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you gave yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, when I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You've been so kind and so good to me. When I thought I had no worth, you laid it all for me. You've been so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, till you gave yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. The reckless love of God. Oh, there's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, there's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, right will I'll be the 99. I don't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
In this song, we're going to do some Swahili. Swahili. You are an awesome God, mighty God,
Mighty God,
I give you praise.
give you praise.
Awesome God,
Awesome God,
you are an awesome God,
awesome God,
mighty God,
mighty God,
I give you praise.
give you praise.
Awesome God,
Awesome God,
you are high and lifted up. Awesome God, you are high and lifted up. Awesome God, you are an awesome God.
awesome God,
Mighty God,
mighty God,
I give you praise.
I give you praise.
Awesome God,
Awesome God,
you are an awesome God.
awesome God,
Mighty God,
mighty God,
I give you praise.
I give you praise.
Awesome God,
Awesome God,
you are high and lifted up. Awesome God, you are high and lifted up. Awesome God. This is for you, for you, for you. 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 I am a today, Mama Naya Yeshua. 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 All right. I am a tunde, Mama Naya Yeshua. It means let's dance. Jesus dances. All right. So I'm going to be dancing as much as I can with this guitar in my hand. And I hope that you dance too online. Because a merry heart do it good like a medicine. So let's do it. Mama Naya Yeshua, I am a tunde. 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 Mama Naya Yeshua, I am a
We say, oh, 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 awesome God. Oh, 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 awesome God. Children will never do that, but do that, but do that. Children will never do that, but do that, but do that. Children will never do that, but do that, but do that. Children will never do that, but do that, but do that. Hey, I am a today, Mama Naya Yeshua. 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 I am a today. I am a today, Mama Naya Yeshua. 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 This is for you, for you, for you. 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 Oh, 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 awesome God. Oh, oh, awesome God. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being such a wonderful online audience and a wonderful in-house audience. This is where we bid you farewell. God bless each and every one of you. And God bless the US Aid community. God bless you all in your fight for human rights. Yeah!
Wow. I'm sure you'll agree with me. What a performance. Thank you so much, Shane Forrester and friends, for an epic, epic gospel performance. We now bring our event to a close and we turn to regional representative of USAID Eastern and Southern Caribbean, Mr. Clinton D. White. Clinton, over to you.
Thank you so much, Aisha. And I think I could say that this has been such an uplifting event today, not only from the stories that we heard from our panelists, but just the uplifting music that we just heard from Shane Forrester and friends. I think Jaiko had mentioned it, it took me back to church for my youth in my life. So thank you all for this. I also want to thank everyone from USAID and our public affairs here at the State Department and everyone who helped make this such a successful event. We couldn't have done it without everyone, and it just shows you how we all can work together in this human race to achieve what it is that we desire to. Last November, our USAID Administrator Samantha Power laid out her vision for inclusive development, that it should be accessible, equitable, and responsive. Partnerships are at the core of USAID's work. That's why USAID is always finding ways to strengthen, expand, and diversify our partner base to build bridges in the communities where we work, build capacity to respond to communities in need, and help us make us better informed about development assistance. Faith-based organizations serve some of the most vulnerable populations in the world that are often the first in and last to leave, and uniquely qualified to identify and meet local needs. In the Eastern and Southern Caribbean, USAID, through the Community, Family, and Youth Resilience Program, we worked with places like Antioch Baptist Church and the Wesleyan Holiness Church in St. Kitts and Nevis, and Charlotte Street Wesleyan Church in Guyana to implement after-school programs in communities with higher levels of crime and violence. These partners help develop working relationships between parents and schools. They also offered a variety of after-school activities for youth like karate and dance classes and guided them on homework assignments. With this extra support, the youth gained life skills and a sense of self-worth. Behavior and school performance also improved. What we learned is that when we engage with the local voices and institutions who possess the capability, connectedness, and credibility to drive change in their own countries and communities, our programs have greater impact and we achieve more sustainable results. Arjun, your perspective on USAID's approach to locally led development and the fresh perspectives that new partners bring to the table show how USAID is transforming words into action. And as we heard from Farhana and Imran, here in the Eastern and Southern Caribbean, faith-based organizations continue to play a critical role in youth empowerment, disaster response, and combating the COVID-19 pandemic. As we all should know or may know, gospel music has been an influence in both the United States and the Caribbean culture, given its roots going back as far as slavery and even further until the present day. It's music that enriches our hearts and gives us strength. And I think we can all say that it has given us strength today from what we have heard from Jaiko, King Servant, and Shane and the choir and his friends. Your songs are a powerful reminder of how music builds connections and how much we need these connections to support one another, especially in trying times. In closing, let me just say that diversity, equity, inclusion makes USAID a better organization because we're stronger together. When we're inclusive in our workplace, our partners, our communities we serve, we can reach more in our mission to not only advance human dignity, but to advance this human race. So thank you very much for this, and thank you all for attending. Back over to you, Aisha.
Thanks so much, Clinton, and thanks to all of you at home and online for viewing. Have a good afternoon.